Thanks, Chrissy. Thanks, everyone, for taking the time to hear the International Graphite story. We're a young company, but I think we're really going places. IG6, International Graphite, has the vision of becoming Western Australia's, and if it's Western Australia's, it could be Australia's, and if it's Australia's, it will certainly be the world's, outside of China's, first mine-to-market producer of graphite battery anode material. Battery anodes is the space that every graphite producer and wannabe producer at this point in time is looking to get into. The days of just being a concentrate producer doesn't capture the full value chain, and so being downstream into the battery anodes material is where one would want to get to. We believe we have the right commodity. Lithium, our friends in lithium and nickel and cobalt have smashed the electric vehicle battery market open with their branding, and it's time for the graphite guys to step up and show the importance of graphite in any lithium-ion battery. We've got an outstanding location, and it's great to be in the southwest because we've got a very unique offering. The International Graphite owns its two assets. It's the Hopetown Graphite Project located in Hopeton, 30 kilometres south of Ravensthorpe, which I've been to, Chrissy, and the Collie downstream processing facilities, which we've established in Collie, which would ultimately treat our graphite concentrates that we produce at Hopeton. IG6 was created off technical skills of Phil Hurst and his colleague Dave Pass. So we've been very focused on metallurgy, process design and technical aspects that feed into the market. And that's been very important for us in terms of branding the company and moving it forward with an investor base. And critical to that, and being Western Australian dominated company, is that we're able to offer something to battery manufacturers that very few others in the world can offer, which is a set of ESG credentials that have a mine to market where the signature of our product can be traced from the mine right through to its end use. Just briefly on our corporate structure, we listed back in April of this year. We have 165 million shares on issue, market cap just under 55 million. $8.9 million in the bank at the end of June, which does not include a $2 million grant from the Western Australian State Government that we received or announced on Monday of this week, and R&D process that we will also have the benefit over the next coming years as we spend that money. As I said, Phil Hurst is the chairman of the company. It's really Phil's vision and drive that's got the company to where it is today. Phil and his colleague Dave Pass spent at least 8 to 10 years in the graphite industry, having done most of the feasibility studies for ASX and AIM listed companies with assets here in Australia, but also in Africa, Madagascar. And it's that knowledge and understanding of the industry and going into the marketplace that awoken their interest in getting downstream. And it's why we've been able to advance ourselves so quickly, because of their technical know-how and their ability to apply that to technologies that can produce battery anode materials. So what's driving the graphite opportunity? No pun intended, but it is the electric vehicle market and the need for lithium-ion batteries. There's been a number of conferences held in the last 6 to 8 weeks which have outlined the need for critical minerals, and the expansion of the critical minerals industry is breathtaking, and what's needed to get to market to allow the world and governments in particular to meet their decarbonisation goals. But a couple of statistics around graphite which I think are important. It is a element that hasn't really received the same marketing that some of the other elements within the lithium-ion batteries have. And I think it's the opportunities to change that. Graphite represents 95% of the anode raw material in lithium-ion battery. You can have up to 10 times more graphite in a lithium-ion battery than lithium. And 28% of the lithium-ion battery consists of graphite. Benchmark Intelligence, which is I think probably the preeminent independent research consultancy that looks at all battery minerals, and their demand, have identified 97 natural flake graphite mines that are required at an average annual capacity of 56,000 tonnes, assuming no recycling, to meet the demand by 2035. So that's an increase of 240% of what is mined today, which is a breathtaking number. At this point, practically every kilogram of battery anode material makes its way from China, from various mines around the world, including China. And it's that ability for us to step in and replace some of that supply with an ESG branding that's world class that provides us with a significant opportunity. As you were driving down here today, it probably didn't dawn on you that you were driving through perhaps one of the most significant battery hubs that's been developed in the world at this point in time. Graphite, like many other minerals, has got critical mineral status. We have established ourselves right in the hub, the middle of that battery hub in Collie, where we have access to world-class services, world-class infrastructure and people. And we have an extraordinary amount of government support, particularly at the state level, as evidenced by that $2 million grant that we received this week for our micronising facilities in Collie. We're surrounded by research centres, lithium, downstream facilities, Greenbushes mine, of course, Albemarle, and Nickel West, all looking to do some, and Ecograph looking to provide battery anode material-related raw materials to the world. That's a nice image of the infrastructure of our assets and how well located they are. Our Springdale mine is located just south of Ravensthorpe. Ravensthorpe is a significant mining district. Obviously the Ravensthorpe nickel mine, which is owned by First Quantum, is a significant nickel mine globally. And the Mount Cattlin lithium mine, which is also to the north of us, is a significant lithium mine. So we coexist well with the agricultural community down at Hopeton, and we certainly expect to be able to do the same. Our plan is to mine our graphite, produce a graphite concentrate of 95%, and then truck that to Collie, where it will be turned from a concentrate into the battery anode material through a number of processing stages. What every graphite miner would like to do is capture the full cycle of the battery anode value chain, and this sets out what that is. Historically, graphite has not been associated with electric vehicles. Its primary use has been in other industrial applications, but going forward, the fine flakes that we anticipate to be able to mine from Springdale will pass their way through a number of separate stages: micronising, ferronising, purification to produce what's often referred to as a PSG product, which is a intermediary product, which then would go to a coating stage, and it's the coated material that finds its way into the battery anode and the lithium-ion battery manufacturers. At each stage of that process, you're looking at doubling your margins, and so the economics of the concentrate is far outweighed by the economics of getting downstream. Part of what's important to International Graphite has been to establish ourselves as a very serious downstream participant. And so one of the things that we did as we committed to our IPO and the post-listing was to establish a pilot plant in Collie to demonstrate that we had the technical skills and the capability of being able to produce those first stages of finished product, which is the spheroidised and the micronised graphite. We believe it's probably the most advanced pilot-scale graphite micronising and spheroidising plant that's been installed and commissioned in Australia. We've also ordered and received on site a high-temperature purification furnace that's available to be applied to that product. We've engaged nearly 30 local suppliers in Collie, so we've been a very strong supporter of the local community. In September, we produced our first product of micronised and then spheroidised product. This morning we announced to the market the results of the sizing and distribution results of that analysis of that product, which demonstrated that we're really on the path to the battery anode material quality. The next phase for us will be to order what we refer to as production qualification scale micronising equipment, and that is the next step in us establishing a micronising facility, hopefully by the end of next year, which will be the first downstream graphite commercial project in Australia. Ultimately, our goal is to establish a commercial scale battery anode facility in Collie, treating the Springdale graphite project concentrates. So Springdale, just a bit about that. It was our listing asset. We acquired that from Comet Resources and that's why Comet exists on our share register as a 24% owner of International Graphite. We're 25 kilometres south of Ravensthorpe. We inherited a mineral resource of 15.6 million tonnes at 6% total graphitic content. And within that, there was a high-grade resource of 2.6 million tonnes at 17.5%. And to put that in perspective, that is already sufficient material for us to validate a 10 to 12-year mine life. The mining at Springdale will be shallow. It'll be open pit. So far, we've drilled to 100 metres, and essentially the mineralisation and the resource work has been conducted on drilling that's gone no further than that. Comet were able to do some battery anode work, test work, on metallurgical test work over in Germany, and when we inherited the asset, and they demonstrated that they could produce a concentrate and then have that concentrate purified to produce a 99.95% finished product, which is battery anode material grade. We've also got the benefit of an electromagnetic survey that was flown over the properties back in 2019, but which had no work done on it since that, and that is it there, and it shows both our existing mineral resources but also hotspots that we think are prospective for graphite. So the yellow highlighted areas right in the middle of that diagram are our existing mineral resource, and outside of that are the hotspots delineated by the red dotted line around many of those patches that show exploration opportunities. So far, we launched a 7,000 metre drilling campaign back in June, July. We've got about 75% through that before weather prevented us from going any further. Results are coming through spasmodically for that. We've received results for 22 holes, both of which identified new exploration prospects. And you can see some spectacular hits there, 7 metres at 13, 5 metres at 12.8, 10 metres at 9.5, and then further hits there in the next 13 holes. So that they were taken from within 500 metres of the existing mineral resource. So from a scale perspective, we're drilling and extending the existing mineral resource. So that the 10 years that we know that we have in the mineral resource that we acquired is going to expand significantly. This will be a 25, 30-year mine. At some point, we're going to have to stop drilling. So our mine-to-market strategy is based off some very, very strong foundations. The Springdale Graphite project is a large and growing resource with significant exploration opportunity. It's fine graphite is suitable for battery anode material. We've established ourselves in Collie as a downstream processor. The micronising and spheridising pilot facilities are running. We have received government support to establish a commercial micronising facility in Collie, and expansion studies are underway for our battery anode material products that will integrate with Springdale. We have a strong technical team that's been the foundation and the DNA of our company from the start, and it's our overall investment is underpinned by an extraordinary demand for electric vehicles and lithium-ion batteries. And most important, as important as anything, is our ability to say that we can stamp our finished product with ESG credentials, which are probably better than any other graphite producer in the world at this point in time. Just on the right there, I haven't talked about graphite and demand in this presentation. I want to focus just on our assets primarily, but that's a benchmark intelligence forecast of demand relative to existing supply, expansion supply, probable supply, and perhaps potential supply. The gap there is extraordinary. I'm almost done. The gap there is extraordinary. We've got the assets that we think can fill that. There's lots of room in this space for other graphite producers, and we think we'll be at the forefront of it. So thanks for your time.